It was Derby 1, West Brom 1, and that's a really big point for West Brom. If I was sat here saying it was Derby 1, West Brom 0, there would be a lot of, West Brom just need to get something from somewhere, and Eric Ramsey's lost 3 out of 3. But a late equaliser means West Brom have not lost. They have stopped the away rot. Remember, they lost 10 away games consecutively as well going into today. And they've got themselves a point. They've got something. They are moving after a fashion. It was not pretty, but it was never going to be tonight. And I think West Brom will be really, really happy to get out of Dodge here with a point, something to build on. Obviously, Eric Ramsey coming in and immediately having to do a 3-game week is not the one, is it? Very, very difficult start. And now they can build something you would hope from a West Brom point of view and use the week of training to start some kind of forward momentum. But make no mistake, they just had to stop the rot. A collapse. They lost 5-0 at Norwich in midweek, didn't they? And we wondered what happens if West Brom face any adversity in this game today. Are they going to wilt? No, they didn't, because they did face adversity in this game. And we know Derby have had their struggles at home. I tweeted today that Derby going into today, were 3rd in the away table, 20th in the home table. So they have struggled to make things count at Pride Park. And this is the latest in probably what they'll consider a series of missed opportunities, conceding a goal to a frankly beleaguered West Brom in the 95th minute. But the adversity that West Brom had to face in this one is that they kind of edged the first half. Derby hadn't had a shot. They hadn't had a shot on target. No, they hadn't had a shot at all. And we're at like minute 43 or something like that. And they get a free kick. And watch back on the watch along, I say, you know what's going to happen now, don't you? And first shot on target ends up in the goal. And worse than that for West Brom, new goalkeeper Max O'Leary on his debut comes out, makes an absolute hash of catching the ball, drops it. Where does he drop it? Of course, he drops it on the toe of Derby's key striker at the moment, Patrick Agyemang, who bimbles it over the net. And we're saying at half-time, West Brom are hapless. They are just finding every which way to lose at the moment. Fragile and all of that stuff. No luck. Can't catch a break. Nothing's going for them. Well, that is about to change towards the end of this game in a couple of ways, actually. So Derby lead at half-time. It's much of a muchness the second half. And strangely, we get a treble substitution from both sides to kind of pep it up. And I thought it actually favoured Derby. I thought Derby had more after both managers went for the treble sub. And then, a quite peculiar moment, Christian Bielik had hurt his shoulder in the first half, played on. I'm not a doctor. I don't know whether it popped out and they pushed it back in and then he had to come out, and whether he played on injured. But that's what it kind of looked like. Bielik goes out and Chris Mepham comes in. And of course, who scores the equalising goal right at the end of the game? Chris Mepham. So although West Brom couldn't catch a cold, let alone a break at the moment, there's some weirdness there about that the fact Mepham's even on the pitch is not by design. And he manages to get the goal. To be fair to West Brom, in stoppage time, and we've heard about Eric Ramsey and MLS and set pieces and all of that, they did push. And they did go for it. And there's a chance immediately before for Josh Madry, who was one of the subs who came in. And the ball breaks from him on the back stick. And he just like studs it around the post. And you think if he just gets a toe ender on that one, you know, and they get the goal. And that's the big chance gone. But literally from, I think it might have been the next set play. Although I didn't see a Derby touch on that, so I'm sure they'll be all over that if that was the case, but I could be wrong about that. From the next set play, Malumbi flicks it on the near post, and it's literally the most ugly point, because the most ugly goal you can get is one that doesn't even hit the net, and headed goalwards by Mepham. Zetterstrom dives. He's behind the line. He tries to swipe it out, and in it goes. And Christopher there in the chat is totally right. At 1-0, Ben Brereton Diaz did have a really, really good shot. He had two chances. One of them was really good, where he's running in on the angle, which he's been a bit of a master at in the Championship. Well, actually, he's running straight, but he's normally better when he's coming in wide and going central. But he goes into the box and he doesn't really get any purchase on the shot, and that would have killed the game off. Also, there's a cross goes in, and I don't think he's expecting to head it. And again, doesn't get any purchase on that header. So it's ifs, buts, maybes, fine margins. It was very wintry Championship in a 3-game week. We're talking about a couple of set plays, a big goalkeeping mistake, missed chances, and a late equaliser from a set play. So it's one of those coin flippy, just fight and get it done type games. And it ends 1-1. The narrative from a Derby point of view is you're really annoyed because you haven't got over the line in a home game again, and they are just not as good at home as they are away from home. And I think if we looked at it, they would have been fourth in the league if you transposed their away points onto their home. But it was like 48, I think it was 24, double up to 48, would have put them in fourth going into the round. So there's a clear disparity and a clear problem at home for Derby. They're going to be annoyed about that, but they've got a 7-point week. So over the kind of mid-term rather than immediate term, I know it's short-term, a 3-game week, then you'd take it, wouldn't you? But I do think that could be a really big result for West Brom, having lost the Borough in the first game, no new manager bounce, and then just that heinous collapse against Norwich. They just needed something. And I've just clicked to look, what is the next game for West Brom? Get your popcorn out if you've studied the league table. Next game for West Brom, Portsmouth away. So another gigantic head-to-head game. And dare I say, if Pompey were to win, they haven't played a play on Sunday against Southampton. If they were to win that game, they would be level on points with West Brom. They are 2 places below. So massive, massive game coming up for West Brom. And I think potentially, look, they could collapse again and go and lose the next 3, but potentially something to build on. Anything is what they needed. A late goal, a point. They didn't lose. Ramsey's got a point. Something's gone for them. They are up and running, and that ridiculous run of 10 consecutive away defeats that was going to 11 is gone. It is over. Derby 1, West Brom 1.